Find the perfect spot here. Today we're going to talk about our relationship with God, because it's easy to say, I'm a Christian, I believe it. There's a bug flying around here. Got it. Today we're going to talk about our relationship with God, because it's easy to say, I'm a Christian, I believe in God, I go to church. But what significance does that have in your life? What is your relationship with God really like, and what does it mean to you? So we're going to talk about the love that we might have for God in 3 different tiers or levels. The first level of love is a kind of servant love. You feel like you're supposed to love God. Like you really only have the relationship and do as God tells us to avoid consequences. Kind of like you follow Christ, you go to church, say your prayers, all of that. Mostly because you feel like you're supposed to. Like if you don't, you won't go to heaven, or you just because that's what you've been taught to do. In this situation, God is kind of like a teacher or a coach. You know, you only do the assignments to pass the class, or you only do the drills in practice because to stay on the team. You really only do things because they tell you to. And God is really kind of just there to hold you accountable, and it's not much deeper than that. The second level of love is a kind of self-gaining love, or what we could call a mercenary love. A mercenary being someone who is hired to defend or fight in some kind of combat capacity, really only to get paid, not because they genuinely want to fight for the cause. So you're kind of only in it for your own gain. What's in this relationship for me? What do I get out of this? This might mean that we tend to only turn to God in times of trouble, or when we need to ask for help or ask for something from God, which isn't necessarily bad because we know that God is our source of help. But this kind of makes God seem like a genie in a lamp, right? We only turn to him when we need something, which we might not even realize it, but it makes it a one-way relationship. The third level is a self-giving, complete love. It's the love that God has for us, known as agape love. It is genuinely and completely willing the good of the other before yourself. And it is entirely giving yourself to God's will. It's the love that we were made for, and the love that Jesus calls us to show when he says, the greatest commandment is this: you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. The word love that Jesus uses in the original Greek is agape. With all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. It's the love that God shows for us by sending his son to die for our salvation. And we're called to reciprocate that love by devoting ourselves to God and putting faith first in our lives. We all start our faith journey on that first level, kind of an introduction to the faith before we pursue it and grow in it. And hopefully we can move upwards in our love for God. But I think a lot of us are still on that first or maybe second level, which isn't a bad thing. It's still a relationship with God, which is so important and necessary, but it's maybe incomplete. And that's part of the journey. Striving to reach that point where we can say, God, I commit myself to you with all my heart, with all my mind, and with all my soul. I give myself to your love and your will. Where are you on that path? Think about what level you might be on. And I hope that today, you and I can choose to grow in our relationship with God and pursue the love that we were made for.